If you sell print-on-demand products using Printful or Printify, there is something you really don't want to overlook. Managing resale certificates correctly can have a direct impact on your margins, often saving 5% or more on every order. If this step is skipped, your print provider will charge you sales tax on the product cost, increasing your expenses before you ever make a sale. And the tricky part? Many sellers don't realize this is happening until they look closely at their costs. Print-on-demand companies like Printful and Printify operate at scale and ship products into many states across the US. Because of that, they have sales tax nexus in a large number of states. When a business has nexus, the state requires them to collect sales tax on taxable transactions shipped into those states, unless a valid exemption applies. From their perspective, every order you place is presumed taxable unless you tell them otherwise. That's why if you don't provide a resale certificate or acceptable exemption documentation, sales tax gets added automatically to your order total. This isn't optional on their end, it's how they stay compliant. A resale certificate tells Printful or Printify that you're purchasing those products strictly for resale, not for personal or business use. In other words, you're certifying that you're not the end consumer, and taxes, if required, will be collected later when the product is sold to your customer. When a valid resale certificate is on file and accepted, the print provider can sell to you without charging sales tax on qualifying orders. That directly lowers your cost of goods, and over time, that difference adds up in a very real way. But there is an important clarification to consider, which is registration versus resale certificates. This is where a lot of sellers get confused. You do not need to register for a sales tax permit in every state where Printful or Printify has nexus. You only need to register in states where you have established nexus. In many cases, print-on-demand platforms will accept a resale certificate or another state-approved exemption form, even if you are not fully registered in that specific state. And that's how many sellers avoid over-registering while still preventing unnecessary tax from being charged on their supplier orders. That said, acceptance rules vary by state and by platform, so this is an area where details matter. Inside your Printful dashboard, the process to submit a resale certificate is fairly straightforward. Navigate to Billing, Tax Information, Resale Certificates. Add a new certificate. Select the applicable state and product categories and upload the completed resale certificate or exemption form. Once submitted, Printful reviews the documentation, usually within a few business days. After approval, sales tax will no longer be charged on qualifying orders shipped to that state. It's important to remember that certificates may need to be updated if business information changes or if Printful requests refreshed documentation. If resale certificates aren't set up correctly, Printful or Printify will continue charging sales tax on your orders. Your per unit costs increase, often by 5% or more, and your margins shrink, or you're forced to raise prices. And because this tax is embedded in supplier costs, it often goes unnoticed, especially when sellers are focused on revenue, ads, and fulfillment rather than back-end tax details. Over time, that unnecessary tax can meaningfully impact profitability. Resale certificates aren't just administrative paperwork, they're a margin protection tool. When they're set up correctly and kept up to date, you avoid paying sales tax you were never meant to pay in the first place. If you sell using Printful or Printify, taking the time to manage resale certificates properly is one of the simplest, highest leverage steps you can take to protect your margins as your business grows. But there are some other systems where the need for resale certificates may feel unclear, and one of those is Shopify Collective. And for more information on that, check out this video. And remember, when in doubt, always consult with a sales tax professional.